All right. Well, good morning. My name is Annie Pearl, and I'm a corporate vice president at Microsoft. And as a former product leader and chief product officer at several startups, helping startups be successful is something I'm very passionate about. So incredibly excited to be here today to deliver this keynote focused on transforming the future of startups with AI. Now, here at Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And we think that with AI, that's going to be a really critical component of our ability to deliver on this mission, especially as it relates to startups. And within the cloud and AI group here at Microsoft, we're really focused on two key areas for how we want to help startups be successful in this era of AI. First, we want to help you unlock productivity across your entire organization with Microsoft Copilot. And second, we want to help you build your own transformational AI applications for your customers. So let's start first by talking a little bit about Copilot and how we're helping unlock productivity across your entire organization. So this is the Copilot stack. We've been working on this for the past couple of years, and we've used this stack and an AI toolkit to embed a Copilot experience into every single one of Microsoft Cloud's products that hundreds of millions of users use every single day. So let's dive a little bit deeper into a Copilot that most of you are probably familiar with, GitHub Copilot. This is an AI pair programmer that works with all the most popular programming languages to radically accelerate developer productivity. And since launching this last year, we now see that 46% of new code written by developers who are using GitHub Copilot is entirely generated by AI. We're seeing 96% of developers are faster at repetitive tasks, and 75% are reporting that they're more satisfied in their work. So it's not just about productivity. It's about really allowing people to get back to their most meaningful work and creating that time and space for that work. And that's the real power of built-in AI. Now, in addition to building a Copilot natively into every single one of Microsoft Cloud solutions, we've also developed Copilot Studio. This allows you to extend and customize a Copilot using a graphical interface or natural language. So with over 1,000 pre-built connectors and plugins, you can essentially build your own Copilot from scratch and embed it into your website, into your application, or directly into Teams. In addition to everything we're doing to help unlock productivity across your entire organization with Copilot, we're also investing in tools and services to allow you to build your own transformational AI applications for your customers. And the way that we do this is we take developer tools like the Visual Studio family of products, GitHub, which is now used by over 100 million developers around the world, and Power Platform, one of the most widely used low-code platforms on the market. And we combine these developer tools with the power of Azure and the application, data, and AI platform built within it. We bring these two things together to allow you to build transformational AI applications for your customers. Now, I think we're all aware that the AI landscape is changing so rapidly, and it's all so new, that as founders, it's not just enough to think about the technical aspects of your product. You have to think about the economics of AI. And when does it make sense to use an out-of-the-box LLM versus when does it make sense to prompt tune versus when does it make sense to fine-tune or even build your own model? So you really, really need an end-to-end toolkit that can help you on that journey from early experimentation all the way to pushing production in a seamless and frictionless manner. And so we're really focused on creating a one-stop shop for all of your AI development needs that can really scale with you from those early days of experimentation where maybe all you need is a no-code, low-code product, all the way through deep customizations using APIs and SDKs. So let's dig in a little bit deeper into our Azure AI platform. At the top, you can see our Azure AI services. These are really intended to help you get started as quickly as possible, regardless of what model you're using. And they're pre-built for specific use cases, and they're as easy to use as making an API call, so really helping you to get started very quickly. Then, when you're ready to actually work directly with the foundational models, or you're looking for more advanced tooling, we offer Azure Machine Learning, where you can access specialized models through our model catalog. You can refine your prompts using tools like Prompt Flow. And with our responsible AI dashboard, you can also assess the output of a model before you push it to production to make sure it's sufficiently de-risked. And at the bottom, you'll see Azure AI Infrastructure. This is where we offer the best open source and state-of-the-art GPT models with the reliability, scalability, and security that you would expect from Azure. So that's the all-up platform, AI platform. Let's talk now and walk through an example of a startup building on our platform. This is Good Call. They're an AI-powered phone assistant for local businesses. So to get started, they began using Azure AI speech recognition to be able to take their phone calls and turn them into actionable conversations using NLP, speech-to-text, and text-to-speech. And because they were using a service, this was as easy as making an API call. They got this out to market in under a week. And then they were able to gather feedback from customers, and they identified an opportunity to make their conversations more personable, more personalized, and also more interactive. And so then they started using Azure Machine Learning, and they were able to work with our more customized GPT models to build more interactivity into the application, making it feel more human-centric, being able to monitor performance in real time, and optimize for performance as well. So an example of a startup that really went on a journey, starting through kind of experimentation, getting something off the ground really quickly, and then taking user feedback and improving the product over time. And that's really our goal with our Azure AI platform. We want to be a one-stop shop that grows with you as you continue to build your product, learn from customers, iterate, test, and learn. For those of you in the audience who might be founders, you may be looking for help and support as you're building your own sustainable products. So if you're interested in building on Azure or leveraging the Azure AI platform, the best place to start is Microsoft for Startups Founders Hub. This is where you can get access open to anyone with an idea. You can get access to all the latest and greatest generative AI models, up to $1,500 worth of OpenAI credits, up to $150,000 worth of Azure credits, and technical guidance, business guidance, lots of benefits within this program. We have over 15,000 startups in the last year alone, AI startups in particular, that have now joined our program and are building on our AI platform. So you can go to startups.microsoft.com if you're interested in exploring Founders Hub. So the next part of this keynote, actually going to welcome a special guest to the stage. So as part of the Microsoft for Startups program, we partner with leading investors like Y Combinator, the AI Grant Fund, Conviction, Neo, and we give exclusive benefits to the portfolio companies within those partners. Most recently, we welcomed Alt Capital to our family of partners within the Microsoft for Startups program. And so very excited to welcome Jack to the stage. For those of you who don't know Jack, he was a co-founder of Lattice. He's currently the managing partner at Alt Capital, and he recently raised a $150 million venture fund focused on early stage startups. So welcome, Jack. Of course, yes. Awesome.
Hello.
So, Jack, the venture capital space right now, AI, very hot. You just launched, obviously you raised your fund, but you also launched Generate Accelerator, focused specifically on B2B AI startups. Would love to share with the crowd sort of a little bit more about Generate and maybe, what's your approach to kind of sourcing companies and how are you thinking about sort of nurturing and helping them be successful?
Yeah, so my background had been like a B2B SaaS founder. I had built, Lattice over the last 8 or 9 years, which is a sort of mid-market software company for HR teams to do people management. And so that was my background, was basically just around, the sort of what you would think of as a traditional B2B company. And one of the things that's been amazing, obviously, over the last couple of years has been the centrality of AI in startups, especially in B2B startups. And one of the observations I had while talking to founders was, in the current moment, there's such a flurry, rightfully so, of focus on AI itself and what's the technology looking like, what's coming down the pipe, how is this going to play out for customers. But in addition to that, a founder still needs to do all of the regular blocking and tackling of building a company, which is really hard work in and of itself. And so the idea with Generate is to batch together a group of founders who are doing, B2B software companies that, make use of AI, but still give them the tooling, the support, the network, the focus on a lot of those regular building blocks around just building a software company. And so I think that's kind of the space we're trying to sort of play in, and we're going to try to work with companies who are sort of, in the earliest phases of sort of product market fit, companies that have customers, are starting to grow, and are really ready to get ramping.
Awesome, love it. Let's talk a little bit about foundational models. So we talked a little bit in the talk about this kind of ever-changing landscape of AI, and so do you have any advice for founders in the audience of how to think about, model selection? We're seeing new models come out all the time. We're seeing improvements to existing models, and we kind of have this expectation now that there's sort of exponential improvements every time there's a new version. Yeah, any advice for founders in the audience on how to think about model selection?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously nobody knows the future perfectly, but it seems like a very good bet that the models that we'll all be working with 3, 6, 12, certainly 24 months from now are going to be wildly different than what we're looking at. You would need to see a big aberration from the trend line and from the expectations of everybody working in the sort of in the technology. And so you can basically expect, you don't know to what degree, you don't know exactly how quickly, but you can more or less bet that we are going to be on some line where the capabilities are going to be much stronger a year from now than they are today. And as a builder of products, we all know it is painfully slow. It takes longer to build everything than we want. The projects that we think are going to take 3 months take 6. The projects we think take 6 take 12. Once you build the product, you're going to be, it takes longer than you think to get into market. Like a good rule of thumb I've seen is from the day you start a company, it kind of takes 2 years usually to get really on the map. It takes 6 months, 12 months to get a product out that your customers are going to be satisfied with, and then another. If you can get from 0 to $1 million of ARR in your first year, you're doing pretty well. And so, triangulating to that future where you've got, a product in market with early traction in customers, that future includes models that are wildly different. We've all had countless aha moments over the last 6 months when a year ago you laughed at a music app that you're like, that doesn't sound like a person, and then you hear it again and you're like, wait a second, that was pretty good. Or you see that with a video model, you see it with text answers to things. And so we should, at some point you want to stop getting surprised that you're going to be surprised, and you kind of plan for that. There's a balance here, of course, where you don't know the future, and as an early stage founder, you've got to focus on the present too. And so you can't just be sort of triangulating strategically into this unknown future. But I do think in this particular moment in time, there is a balance of today's urgent needs with some semblance of, we know that the future is kind of going in this direction and kind of quickly.
So maintaining some flexibility in sort of how you're thinking about what models you're building on. And
yeah, and so given that backdrop, I think that there's a few considerations in terms of what model. One is to the extent that you can, you want to try to, as best as possible, partner with the models that you think are most likely to stay at the forefront. For obvious reasons, you want to have whatever advantages are going to come with that. You want to not have to deal with the switching costs in the case that you realize that you need to move between models, or at least move part of your work between models. So I do think, given that, working with the companies that are, have the most experience working with the widest range of companies that seem to you to be moving the most quickly in the directions that your startup might be interested in having models that work, different models are going to have different capabilities. And so trying to hitch yourself to, the company, the underlying company that you think is moving most quickly in the direction that you most care about. And then the last thing is, we've learned this, many times over many different sort of technology cycles, is that platform risk is a real thing, and it is extremely challenging for companies when they're overly exposed to it. And so even with that said, I would still advise make sure that you aren't putting yourself in a position where you are so desperately dependent on any one model in the case that you need to switch. Obviously, again, life is about balances, and you need to make investments into a platform, but there's already so many risks and miracles that you need to sort of stack together to make a startup work. Avoiding platform risk where possible is wise.
Love it. And maybe just to close out on the partnership, would love to hear and share with the audience sort of what interests you in partnering with Microsoft, and were there specific synergies or alignments, or maybe what surprised you about working with Microsoft?
Yeah, so similarly, as you do in these partnerships, kind of like I was just describing with models, to me, in thinking about what I'm interested in and the types of companies I want to back, which are early stage B2B software companies, I saw a lot of alignment with Microsoft in the way that they think about these things. Obviously, the connection with OpenAI is really positive because that's such a strong platform too. And the way that your team operates and the sort of focus on early stage companies and the speed with which people are moving, it really actually feels to me like there really is a startup inside Microsoft where people are extremely focused on this future, and there's like a deep understanding that the future major platforms are today's startups. And so like Microsoft is prioritizing working with those companies in a super white glove way, and I thought that was really promising. That's what I would have wanted when I was starting Lattice.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jack. Jack also has you'll be on stage again later today, so come check out your fireside chat with Miles.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, Jack. Good to see you. All right, so to close out, we talked about really two key areas that we're investing in at Microsoft. We're really helping to unlock productivity across your entire organization with copilots. And we're also trying to build the tools and services and technology to help you build transformational AI applications for your customers. Your learning journey doesn't have to stop here. I'd encourage you to check out Microsoft Learn at learn.microsoft.com, where we've got thousands of learning paths to continue to skill you and upskill you on AI. We recently launched a collections feature that allows you to really tailor these modules based on your experience, your skills, and your learning goals. For those of you who are ready to start building with AI and on the AI platform that we talked about today, you can access ai.azure.com. And for those of you who might be founders in the audience looking for any help and support as part of the Microsoft for Startups Founders Hub, you can use the QR code on the screen or go to startups.microsoft.com. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day.